Okay, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are the Social Tiger Talks, all about lead gen and closing more deals on LinkedIn and any social media platform as well. Here we have a very awesome guest. Her name is Jillian Murphy. She's DM Sales Queen, and we'll get to know why. So, without further ado, um, just let us know, Jillian, how you impact people
Yeah,
and how you help your clients.
absolutely. One, Jordan, thank you so much for having me. I'm always super grateful when I can be on other people's platforms. I was in corporate sales for close to 25 years in distribution sales. I moved to the online space about 4.5 years ago, where I now help entrepreneurs, business owners, service providers, and product based businesses grow their businesses organically through really powerful messaging, marketing, content, and sales.
Amazing, amazing. So, um, that's quite the transition because I know that I made the transition to corporate to being a business owner too, and
Yeah,
it was kind of like limiting at first, but then I kind of like found the right kind of jive, found the right kind of mentors, and just like
yeah.
explode from then. So, was it kind of like a similar journey, or can you share a little bit about your background and how you made that awesome transition?
Yeah, so for me, it was very accidental. I was a ride or die corporate person. I was planning on being with corporate for the rest of my life. A lot of people from my former company follow me. They know I was like a ride or die. I would have like tattooed my company's name on my forehead. And unfortunately, like during the pandemic, when you have a highly paid job and they have to cut expenses and, private equity companies come in and whatnot, they have to cut from the top down. And I went into the office on a Monday, totally normal, and lost my job on a Tuesday. And I always
Mm,
joke that like I lost my laptop, my car, my identity, and literally like everything that I was going to
oh
do.
my goodness.
I was also the breadwinner in my family, right? So I was, raising a daughter. I was married at the time. So, things were going to change very quickly. And I will tell you, I lost my job on a Tuesday and I started my own business on a Thursday. So I gave myself about 24 hours to eat some ice cream and binge some Grey's Anatomy and be sad. And then I literally picked my ass up off the ground and got to work. And it was the best thing that ever
Yeah.
happened to me. I've now built an incredible business. I've helped over a
Oh
thousand
yeah.
business owners. Um,
Wow.
and it's like I look back now and say, like, I can't believe I was really building somebody else's dream for 25 years and collecting a paycheck. And that paycheck is now
Mm,
what I make in a month here in my own business.
yeah. That that that's so true, right? I mean, like right now I'm 45. If I would have got my senses when I was like 20, 25, or
Yeah.
30, but I only started my business about 6 years ago. So when I
Yeah.
was 39, it's like, I don't know, it's such. Of course, you have moments of regret, right?
Yeah.
Of not sometimes, but just turtle on. So you've had like an amazing impact on other people. I want to get to into the value and how you help people.
Thank you.
Um, so, um, what is the primary way that you help people with sales
Yeah.
right now?
So it really depends on the business. I work with every business, every industry, every niche. So it's going to be customer specific, right? So if you have a
Mm,
gym and you're looking to bring more members into the gym, we're going to have one certain way of doing it. If you are a LinkedIn strategist and you're trying to get clients on LinkedIn, there's going to be a
mm,
different strategist, but
yeah,
there's always a through line. Every
yeah,
business has the same
exactly.
problems, right? And the
Yeah,
problems are
true.
basically usually leads coming into their business, which
Yeah,
means
true.
there's not enough visibility, there's not a way to nurture people. There's not a way to close people. And then once people are in your world, how are you actually retaining them? How are we keeping
Exactly.
the members at the gym? How are we keeping people coming back to the favorite coffee shop? How are we getting other people to tell people about the gym and the favorite coffee shop, or you're the
Yeah,
best LinkedIn expert? So
yeah.
there's really a process that I work with companies on, but that's really in a nutshell kind of what I do.
Ooh, wow, that's good. Yeah, it's so interesting that you actually want to get into that right now. It's like like for the beginners, they have some kind of like block of where should they start first,
Yeah.
where should they craft an audience, what
Yeah.
social media platform is best, right? They
Yeah.
have this stigma, but as you said, each platform has their, things you have to do, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's all like generally the same. If your business doesn't have leads, and a lot of what you teach is DM strategy, because
Yes.
for those of you who are listening, um, Jillian closes in the DMs. She does not have any sales calls. She closes in the DMs 4, 5, 6 figure deals.
Yeah.
So
I
it's like
mean, my
absolutely
biggest deal,
amazing.
my biggest deal was $56,000 in the DMs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, for some of us listening, that's just like unfathomable, right?
Mhm.
It's just like amazing, right? So,
Yeah.
so a lot of that has to do with like how you position yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask a little bit of questions about like because a lot of people are worried about content when building a
Mhm.
brand.
Yeah.
Um, how how worried should they be about content
Mhm.
and not specifically like their DM process? I know there's like a
Yeah.
mix. Like, where do you find that mix, Jillian?
Yeah. So I'm going to break it down for you very simply. If you're not having sales calls, you're not having sales conversations, you're not getting people in your DMs, nothing's happening, it's crickets in your world, or it's very like hot and cold. I call it like the revenue roller coaster. 99% of the time, you actually have a content problem because you have a marketing problem. If people don't know who you are and what you do and what you solve and how they can work with you, they're not going to spend their time, because what they're going to do is they're going to scroll right past to somebody else that can figure out. There's probably sales coaches, and I say this all the time, there's probably sales coaches that are better than me online, but nobody knows who they are. My job every single
Mm,
day is to market myself,
yeah,
so everyone on LinkedIn knows who I am.
yeah,
Everyone on TikTok knows who I am. Everyone on LinkedIn or Instagram knows who I am. And that's how your content needs to be. So
yeah,
when people start to work with me, the very first thing that I dive into, and the majority of the work that I do, is actually on their content, because your content needs to be doing the heavy lifting for the sales to actually work. The reason why I get this question all the time, every podcast that I'm on or every live I'm on, people are like, how have you sold, millions of dollars through the DMs? And you guys, my lowest ticket offer is $6,000, and we
hmm,
go all the way up to about $60,000. Okay. So I'm not selling $97 products. I'm not
yeah,
selling $500 memberships. Like, we are selling high ticket, right?
yeah,
The thing is, I position myself in the market as an authority. I
mm,
position myself in the market as an expert. So when
mhm,
people are coming into my DMs, they already know Jillian
yeah,
Murphy can solve my problem. I want to
exactly,
work with her. I want her
yeah,
coming into my company. So if this
exactly,
isn't happening, then your content's not doing the heavy lifting for
yeah.
you.
Exactly, exactly. So that's good. Like a lot of marketing strategies, like in our world, is like they and I'm revealing a little bit about a process which I'm okay with. It's like it's like a lot of our clients and a lot of people that we interact on with LinkedIn, they respond to our DMs
Yeah,
because they just reacted to our posts.
correct. Because the
You-
content's good.
so yeah, it's just like and on LinkedIn you can see who viewed your profile,
Yeah,
and there's like steps. They react and then they respond, right,
yeah,
to your DM. So like what kind of messaging should they be portraying in content, and how much of that is a DM problem?
yeah,
If How do
yeah.
you diagnose that?
I want to answer your first question that you actually
Sure.
asked on the last thing, and it was like, where should you be starting if you're new? Well,
Yeah.
number one, you should be starting wherever your ideal client is at, right? If
Mm,
your ideal client is not a product based business consuming TikTok, get your ass off of TikTok. If
yeah.
your ideal client is a corporate professional that's looking to get help with burnout, you probably should be on LinkedIn. So you need to
Mm,
understand the different platforms and where each person is actually at,
yeah.
because it's not just enough to post on LinkedIn or post on
Yeah.
TikTok or post on Instagram.
Exactly.
I'll give you a great example. I've built an incredible business over on Instagram, and I'm now going onto TikTok. I've been on TikTok for
Wow.
3 weeks. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I feel like I'm talking to crickets. I have no one responding. When they do respond, like, they leave me like shitty comments. I hate it. What I know is, like, my client that's buying five, six, eight, 20, $50,000 products, they're not scrolling on TikTok at night.
Yeah.
So it's not the platform where I'm going to get business.
Yeah.
So you have to also know like where should you be spending your time to get the best ROR and the best ROI and the
Yeah.
best ROT
Yeah.
for the things that you're doing.
Exactly. So, um, just going into like the DM process a little bit,
Yeah.
I mean, there are many people who are maybe brilliant at content and
Yeah.
they get inbound leads, but then uh, they may be successful, but they
Hmm.
want to be more successful. I mean, li- like we're working with um, client on LinkedIn who has over 100K,
Hmm.
and he should be making 100K months, but he's
Yeah.
only making 10K months, and it's like
Yeah.
kind of like what the heck is
What's
happening
going on?
here,
Yeah.
right? It's like so. Any advice to those kind of people who maybe have like a solely a DM problem, not like a content marketing
Yeah.
problem?
I think the biggest thing is like you have to ask yourself like how what are you saying in the DMs? Like how are you
Mm,
getting to know people, right?
yeah.
Again, I get this question all the time like how have you sold so much in the DMs? I'm not trying to sell in the DMs. If I get
Mm,
a spammy, weird, awkward message, I'm never going to respond. If somebody slides into my DMs and it's like, "Hey, Jillian Murphy, do you want me to help you grow your LinkedIn?" It's like, do you even know that I have a problem on LinkedIn? Do you even know that I'm on LinkedIn? Is LinkedIn part of my growth strategy? Like, I'm not
uh,
interested in your services, right? You
yeah.
have to slow down. Like,
Yeah.
I talk about DM selling like dating, right? Like, I'm no relationship expert, that's for damn sure. But what I
Yeah.
do know is it's the same process. And if you went on a first date with somebody and you were like, hey, do you want to like have sex and get married? They'd be like, this feels pretty forward. It's the same
Yeah.
thing that happens in the DMs. Like, we're asking questions to people that we
Yeah.
literally do not have the right to ask yet.
Exactly.
You have to start slow. The majority of my conversations begin with like, what's that chicken recipe that you're cooking? Where did you get that romper from?
Mm,
I'm obsessed with your new Jordans. Like, did you get the new hit? Like
mm,
those types of things. And then you build real relationships. And when you build real relationships, that's what's happening in the DMs, relationship building. And then
yeah.
the second part of this is your content is being served to them. So I don't need to tell anybody in the DMs that I'm a sales coach. I
Yeah.
don't need to tell anybody in the DMs that I help with messaging, marketing, sales, or pricing because my content is feeding that. In
Yeah.
the DMs, we're becoming friends and like genuine friends. So then when they have a problem, they want more sales in their business, they want to hire someone, a fractional sales manager to come in, growth strategy, profit analysis, all of those things. Jillian Murphy is going to be the only and obvious choice because
Yeah.
the relationship was already built.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
my like DM secret
Yeah.
formula.
No, and it's absolutely true. I mean, uh, I guess it depends on the entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Like a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling behind the scenes,
the majority
and
of them are.
they only like paint a brilliant picture on the outside, and so
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to get past that kind of like inner desperation of closing the deal, right? So
yeah.
a lot of that has to do with mind. So how can you how have you built such a resilient mindset, sales mindset?
Yeah, well, number one, remember, I've been doing this for close to 3 decades. I'm aging myself right now,
Mm,
right? I've been
yeah.
doing this for close to 3 decades, and I have practiced the exercise of being told no, right? Whether it's in sales, whether it's asking a guy out on a date, whether it's asking my friends to go get coffee, right? Like, no's do not bother me, like, literally at all, because I've been doing it for so long. And I also say this to myself every single time they're not ready for what I have to offer. And it doesn't matter if it's sales, business, relationships, friendship, it doesn't matter, right? So if I reach out to Jordan and I know that Jordan needs help in sales, right? I'm not saying he does, I'm saying Jordan needs help in sales. And I'm like, hey, Jordan, I'd love to talk about working with you. And he's like, yeah, I'm not ready right now. Jordan's saying no to himself. He's
Mm,
not saying no to me. He's
yeah.
saying that he doesn't want to grow his sales. If I ask a guy out for coffee and they're like, hey, I don't want to go out for coffee, they're saying no to themselves. They're not interested in meeting someone new. Like, it's all about the perspective shifts in which you get it. I take nothing personal, but also remember, it's decades of
Yeah.
doing this.
Exactly.
You're not going to learn sales. Like if you take anything else away from this LinkedIn, you're not going to learn sales by going to a master class.
Yep.
You're not going to learn sales by going to a quick webinar. I host one every week. You're not going to learn one by reading a book. Sales is work that you do every single day to build your muscle. It's like going to the gym.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, 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 exactly. So what kind of exercises do you like like without revealing the whole
I,
enchilada, right?
I'll relive
well,
anything. People pay for proximity. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
okay, so I want to get in because you have an amazing program called Infinity,
Mhm.
obviously, and so what is that about, and how does it help
Yeah.
uh, your
This
clients?
is the thing. I have spoken to thousands of entrepreneurs, and they all had the same problem. They've invested in coaches, they've invested in programs, they've invested in masterminds, they've invested in retreats, but yet their business is still stagnant in sales because
Mm,
every single program out there, and if you can find me a good one, send it to me. Every single program out there is teaching everything other than sales. They're learning how to build funnels, they're learning how to build websites, they're learning how to put courses on Kajabi. Those things are all amazing. But unless you understand how to talk to people
wonderful.
and you can get people to pull out their credit card and pay you in full,
Yep.
none of that matters. So
Yep.
it was such a missing link that I saw in the coaching space. So
Oh
I
yeah.
will tell you, inside of Infinity, I don't teach you anything because you don't need to learn anything else. In fact, you probably need to like unlearn a lot of stuff that you've learned.
That's
What we're
true.
going to do is we're actually going to take the one piece of your business that needs help and is sales. And we're going to dial that in and dial that in and dial that in. And sales comes
Mm,
from a lot of different things. It can be your lead generation. So I work with people on lead generation organically, not paid traffic. I work with people on their content because once people are coming in, the content has to nurture them.
yeah.
I work with them on conversion events. So whether that's a webinar or a LinkedIn Live or a podcast or whatever, making sure that when people hear them and people listen, they're like, I need to work with that person.
Yeah.
No, I don't just go on podcasts and LinkedIn Lives. I go on it as a conversion event. I
Yep.
want people that are hearing me today to be like, I want to work with her.
Exactly.
I want her to learn more about my business. So you
Yeah.
have to be good at what you do, talking about your offer, how you show up, and creating authority in your space. And then
Mm,
closing deals. I help people close deals. I mean, the
yeah.
majority of what we do is in the DMs, but I work with construction companies, gyms, restaurants, brick and mortars, telehealth. Like it doesn't matter. It's all the
Amazing.
same. You just got to get people to
Yeah.
pull out their credit cards and buy.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So, um, I know that you you work with over 1,000 clients, but is there any maybe a couple clients that really stand out
Yeah,
with the results and like
yeah.
with their appreciative nature? I know that that as entrepreneurs we always like clients to be appreciative, and
Mhm.
that's what makes our day, right? Obviously.
Yeah,
So, is there like a couple of case studies that really
yeah.
stand out in your mind?
Yeah, I had a really great client that I worked with recently. Her name's Rebecca. She actually is in the PR space. And I want to preface this by Rebecca was already at a seven-figure income. So maybe
Wow.
you're like, why is somebody who's already making seven figures, already making $1 million hiring you? You guys, I have a lot of clients that are making $1 million. I have a lot of clients that are making $2 million. I got a lot of clients that are making $5 million because you know how you get to the next level? You
Yeah.
hone your skills.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
she had $1 million business, but she was so burnt out on sales calls and she was paying a
Mm,
closer. So she was giving away profit in her business to a closer. Okay. So what we did
mm,
in 31 days, didn't take long, 31 days, we mastered her messaging. We mastered her
amazing.
marketing. We taught people how to go to her DMs. And in 31 days, she closed $108,000 in the DMs with no sales calls, no ads, no funnels, and also while taking a vacation with her littles.
Wow.
Mhm.
Amazing, yeah. It's so true. Usually, well, it really depends on the type of person that you work with, right? Even the high performers, like some of them are like, I don't. what are you going to teach me, right? But others are really receptive because they
Yeah,
want to reach the next level, right? And
yeah,
so in terms of like ideal clients, we know that it's like a fine tuning process,
mhm.
right? So how do you in your current business like continue to fine tune the ideal client that you're looking for, Jillian?
Yeah, it's really simple. I don't believe in niching down. So there's a lot of people that are like, oh, niche down, riches are in the niches, all of those things. I don't. I believe that the niche is the problem that you solve. And every single person that I come in contact with, whether you're a LinkedIn sales strategist, you're an author, you're a gym owner, you're an esthetician, you're a hairdresser, it doesn't matter. They all want one thing. Well, actually, they want two things. They want to make more money, but they want more time freedom.
Yeah,
So I help business owners collapse time around making money while giving them back their most important asset, which is time freedom. So it
exactly.
doesn't matter if someone's making 100 grand or 5 million bucks. It's all the same. And I also just want to preface this. If you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this right now and you have a skill, and maybe you're in your head of you're like, I don't know if I can help people past $100,000 because I've only made $100,000, or I don't know if I can work with a seven-figure earner because I haven't made this. Remember that you possess a skill. You guys, I run a great business, a seven-figure business every single year, but I'll tell you, I have a lot of clients that make a lot more money than me. 2 million bucks, 3 million bucks, 5 million bucks. And I have a construction company that we're close to $22 million on.
Amazing.
Why? Because I possess a skill that every single one of those businesses don't have. But if I put
Exactly.
myself in a box and was like, I can only help people from 0 to 7 figures, I'd be missing out on some of my best client
Yeah,
testimonials.
that's true. I mean, same thing with our growth. Like right now, we're working with multi-million pound construction companies as
Yeah,
well in the UK, and so it's like they they want their time to collapse, right? Obviously,
yeah,
like you said, and so
yeah,
if you have the skills,
yeah.
you could be helping Elon Musk. You know, if you're
Literally.
helping Elon Musk scale and collapse his time, I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't matter, right? So
It doesn't matter who it is, as
yeah.
long as you talk about it. And then the thing is showing up in the energy of like I can help people.
Oh
Right. So
yeah.
I show up every day confidently and I possess an energy around me that like people are drawn to.
Yeah. So just like quickly, I just want to get back into the DM strategy a little bit. So what are you mentioned like starting off very friendly and starting off like, and then what are the key principles to have a great DM strategy on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook,
Yeah.
on any platform?
Well, the number
Uh,
one thing is to take away your agenda. That's what I say to all of my clients.
mm,
If
mhm,
you're going into your DM conversations of like, I got to sell this LinkedIn guy, or I want to get on this podcast or whatever, throw it out the window. You need
mhm,
to let them lead, them tell you their current challenges, or let them tell you their current struggles. And
mhm.
once you know that, then the transition is easy. I also say that if you are trying to be better in sales, you should know what your most common objections are and you should practice them. So,
Mm,
people don't, I don't get the money objection a lot, which is interesting because I sell high ticket, but I get a lot of like, I'm already in another program. I'm already working with
yeah,
someone. I've been burned by other mentors. So I know what to say off the rip because I've practiced it. But if you're not practicing it and you're not working on your transitions, you're never, ever, ever going to be successful in closing sales.
yeah, exactly. So, um, we want to thank you. I know that you
Thank you.
have limited time right now,
Thank
so
you.
I just want to pack this with value. So, any like, what are your goals for 2025?
Yeah.
You particularly, and how does that relate to like your growth as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, so my biggest goal in 2025, I talk about this all the time on my own podcast and on my own social media channels, is I have gone all in on webinars for 2025. I've actually committed to 300 live webinars or $1 million, whichever one comes first. It's probably
Wow.
going to be 300 webinars, but I've gone all in. I've gone all in with my webinar team, my webinar coach, my webinar tech, all of those things. I just had my webinar earlier today. And that is my main sense of growth for 2025. And I also believe that
Amazing.
once you have a plan and you know where you're going, everything else just becomes noise. So again,
Exactly.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly where I'm headed. And if you guys want to learn more about DM selling, the webinar is called Master DM Selling. So you never have to get on a sales call again, regardless of your price point, regardless of your niche.
Amazing, Jillian. Well, it was short, sweet, packful. I will
Thank you.
include your website in the comments here.
Thank you so much. I
Uh,
appreciate you.
so, so, so please check Jillian Murphy out. Again, she's a powerhouse. So, um, we'll definitely send some. Well, we're continually looking for people who want to increment their sales in our clients and people in the network, and we'll definitely keep on referring them to you.
Thank you.
And because um, the guys, I just want to say this: there's only like a couple of people that you meet like throughout your life that can really help you with specific things, and and believe me, I've been going to Jillian's calls, her networking calls every Friday, and it's just a lovely atmosphere,
Thank you.
lovely group. The
Thank
way
you.
she handles it is masterfully. So you're more than welcome to
Thank
go to
you.
that networking group as well and get to know what she's about, and it's absolutely complimentary, as you said. And for more information, please check her website out, thejillianmurphy.com. And thank you so much for your time, Jillian.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely keep in touch.
Thanks, Jordan.
And we'll see you on Friday because
I'll see you
I'm
Friday.
going this Friday as well.
All right, I'll see you
Okay,
Friday.